to you from my home today. Hopefully the Wi-Fi will work the whole time. I just realized that it's getting late and I need to do this and get back to my studio. And I didn't post yesterday because I ran out of time yesterday. It's been kind of a busy week, which is always a good thing for me. I like to be busy, so it's good. So the topic, this is what I was going to talk about yesterday, but I missed it, so I will talk about it today, is how to read nutrition labels. So when I decided that I wanted to finally stop the insanity of super strict diets and then falling off the diet and then binging and then hating myself and then starting it all over again and doing it over and over and over again so many times, I decided, okay, screw this. This is not working. I want to learn about nutrition. I want to learn about what should be going into my body and what I should be avoiding. So I took a course, a really good course, learned a lot of stuff, and that's when I really started paying attention to nutrition labels. And that's what I want to kind of talk to you guys about today, because it's so important to know what is in the food that you are putting in your body. And marketing people will make things sound like they're healthy when they're really not. I saw a commercial for the Special K bar that's supposed to be real food, and the whole thing was you got to eat real food. And then I checked out the ingredients of their real food, and it was horrendous. It was terrible. So I thought, how many people are thinking this is healthy because they don't know how to read a nutrition label? So I figured I would talk about that today. Hey Paula, how's it going? So what to look for. First thing you want to look for on the nutrition label is check out what the portion size is, because quite often it's a lot smaller than you think. So you might see the calories and be like, oh, well, there's only like this many calories, so that's not so bad. But what you missed was that the serving size is so small that you would probably eat 2, 3, or 4 times that amount in one sitting. So that's where the calories add up. So that's one little tricky thing to look for. Look for adequate amounts of the good stuff. So adequate amounts of healthy fats, of protein, of fiber, and then look at the sugar content. So sugar is fine if it's natural, but the sugar that's being added to these products, not so natural. So they might say it comes from fruit, and yeah, maybe at one time it was part of a fruit, but because they've removed it from the fruit, it's now unhealthy. You shouldn't be eating it. So if there's added sugar, you don't want to be taking that, because it's not going to be anything that's going to benefit your body. And check out, this is an interesting one that I learned, check out the amount of potassium to sodium. So natural foods, they have about twice as much potassium as sodium in them, so like fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing. So look for that on your nutrition labels. Make sure that there is more potassium than there is sodium, because a lot of these packaged foods are just loaded in sodium, and again, that's not what you want to be putting in your body. Also look at the fat content. So don't avoid fat. Fat is good. You need some fat in your diet to be healthy. But if it's really high in saturated fat, you might want to think twice about getting that, especially if you have any pre-existing conditions that could be aggravated by having too much saturated fat in your diet. And if there's trans fat, don't even buy it. That does not go in your body ever. Trans fats are terrible. So don't buy anything that has any kind of trans fat in it. So I mentioned added sugars, and if you look at the ingredient label, you might not realize that what you're reading is not healthy. So I'm just going to go through a list. It's a pretty big list. You might want to check this out again on my blog later. But if you see something like corn sweetener, corn syrup or corn syrup solids, dehydrated cane juice. Okay, it sounds like it might be healthy because it's cane juice. It came from sugar cane, but the problem is that it came from sugar cane. It was separated from the sugar cane. If you were to consume sugar cane in its natural form, that's fine. It's got all the enzymes, all the minerals, everything you need to be able to use it for nutrition. But once it's separated and you have the sugar separated from the cane, then that's just going to wreak havoc in your body. Dextrin, you've probably seen that on labels, dextrose, fructose, glucose, pretty much anything that ends in OSE on a label, that's a sugar. Fruit juice concentrate, so again, sounds like it might be healthy, fruit juice, but it's just overly processed, there's no fiber, it's all sugar, it's just not good to put into your body. High fructose corn syrup, I think we all know by now that that's a bad one. Invert sugar, maltodextrin, malt syrup, maltose. Raw sugar, again, a way to make it sound like it might actually be healthy because, hey, it's raw, raw stuff is good for us, and it is, but not raw sugar. Rice syrup, sucralose, definitely stay away from that. Sucrose, any kind of syrup that's added to it. Turbinado sugar, again, that kind of sounds like it might be healthy, but it's not. It's just sugar. It all comes down to just being sugar. And xylose. So you'll see some of these words on ingredient lists, and you probably don't even know what the heck they are. And that's actually another thing to look for. If you're reading the list and it's a super, super long list, and there's a bunch of stuff where you're like, I don't even know what that is, don't put it in your body because your body doesn't know what it is either. Your body's not going to be able to process it and use it as energy. It's going to see it as something that it doesn't know how to use, and it's going to end up storing that as fat. So just natural foods in your body, not stuff that's been made in a lab and stuff you can't pronounce and stuff that you can't even imagine in your head what exactly it is. So stay away from those. Hey, Alyssa, how's it going? Hi, Ryan. Hey, Mark. So tips for grocery shopping. So when you're in the grocery store, I think most people know by now that it's best to stick to the perimeter of the grocery store, so staying to the outside. Unless there's a bakery in the perimeter, then skip past that one. But for the most part, like your produce, frozen foods, stuff like that, meat, seafood, your dairy, all of that, that's going to be found in the perimeter. And that's going to save you a lot of time in the grocery store. If you stick to the perimeter, you don't have to go up and down the aisles looking for stuff. Always choose real foods. So, foods that you recognize, you know what it is, you know where it came from, where you can at least imagine where it came from. All natural, real foods. You can add your own sea salt and spices to flavor stuff if you want to. Try to avoid processed boxed foods. They might look like they're healthy, they might sound like they're healthy, but when food is processed, it's really broken down. It's a lot of the nutrients are actually lost in that process of it being processed. And again, you put that in your body, and your body can't use it effectively for energy. So again, gets stored as fat and just doesn't do you any good. If anything, is going to cause you upset stomach or something like that. So I mentioned avoiding the long ingredient list, I think. So if you look at an ingredient list and it's like it goes from the top of the product all the way down to the bottom of the product, that's really not good. There's a lot of stuff in there that you don't need. There are exceptions to that. Certain superfood shakes, of course, are going to have a huge ingredient list because they're full of superfoods. So as long as the list, you can recognize what the ingredients are and you can tell that it's from a plant, that's okay. But if it's a bunch of chemical sounding stuff, that's what you want to avoid. If you can, for the most part, buy stuff with 3 to 5 ingredients. I think I mentioned the other day, one of my favorite bars is Lara Bars, L-A-R-A, Lara Bars. And they have like 3 ingredients in them, and that's it. It's just fruit and nuts, and they have these incredible flavors. They do have the odd one where they've thrown in chocolate chips. I think it's dark chocolate, which is better than, sugary milk chocolate. But if that's something you need to avoid, then just, look out for that. But other than that, they're like 3 ingredients, and they're so awesome. I mentioned avoiding high fructose corn syrup. I can't stress that enough. I just remember, I know I've consumed a lot of it. I remember looking at a lot of labels of the things in my house when I was starting to become more aware of nutrition, and it seemed like almost everything had high fructose corn syrup added to it, even stuff that shouldn't be sweet. So it's very addictive. It's very, very hard on your body. Plan your grocery list ahead of time and stick to it. This is one I tend to be lazy about. I tend to just, go and I have an idea of what I need and just go and get it. And sometimes that results in getting something that I probably shouldn't have gotten. So, if you can, take a couple of minutes, do a list. You can put it on your phone or whatever, and stick to that list. And don't go when you're hungry. That never works out well. go for fruits and vegetables that are in season. They're going to be a little less expensive than ones that are out of season. And also look for locally grown stuff. Again, that's going to be a little less expensive. And also, when it's local and it's in season, it means it's more fresh, which means it has more of its nutrient content. If you're eating a food that doesn't occur naturally in your environment and it's been shipped from somewhere far away and it's been, in shipping for days or weeks or whatever, by the time you get that food, the nutrient value has dropped off so much that you're not getting anywhere near what you think you're getting. So, try to stick to seasonal, locally grown stuff if you can. Farmers markets are great if there are ones close to you. But in the grocery stores, you can also look and see, because quite often some grocery stores will carry local stuff. And I like to go to those little grocery stores. They're not chains. They're just those little teeny tiny grocery stores. They kind of look a little bit sketchy. But if you go in and check it out, they've got a lot of different produce. It's much better priced than your chain grocery stores. And quite often it is locally sourced stuff. So if you've got some of those stores around you, check those out. And then that's about it, really. Those are my tips. I'm really conscious of the time right here because I got to get back to the studio to teach my last class of the day. I hope that helps you out a bit. I hope you are taking time to check out nutrition labels just to make sure that you know what you are putting into your body, because even though a product is advertised as healthy and it looks like it's healthy and they say, oh, it's organic, but like organic sugar is just as bad for you as non-organic sugar, they do tricky little things in marketing to try to get you to buy their products. So just becoming more aware, learning more about what should and shouldn't go into your body. And I am here to help you, so always feel free to reach out to me. Quite often I'll have clients take a picture of a nutritional label and send it to me so I can look through it for them, and then I can teach them and show them which ingredients are not so great or which ones are really good and that kind of thing. So if you ever want me to do that for you, I'm more than happy to do that. You can send me a message through Messenger, or you can send me an email, info@holyfit.ca. But yeah, don't be shy about it. I'm truly, truly happy to share what I know with you. So what I do know is I'm going to be running late really soon. So I got to go and go get my last class taught, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Any questions, feel free to reach out. Have a great day, you guys.